In this Writer's Toolbox video, I'll be explaining how to write a thesis statement. Now, if you've watched the video on essay structure, you'd have seen this before. So you'll know the thesis statement comes at the very end of your introduction. It's specific and it states the central claim of your essay. Everything in your essay needs to prove this claim. Your body paragraphs, your evidence, everything should be in support of proving this claim. The claim is one sentence long and it comes at the end of your introduction in order for audiences to immediately spot it and navigate through your essay. So here are a couple of do's and don'ts. Make sure you explain the what, but also the why or the how. This is what makes a claim strong. By just explaining what, it's a very basic explanation, but by explaining how or why, we're going a bit deeper and we're making a stronger claim. As I said, the thesis statement should be at the end of your introduction. Audiences will expect it to be there, so don't try to fool them, don't make it confusing. Always refer back to it. Your body paragraph claims should support your thesis statement. At the end of your body paragraphs, you should relate it back to your thesis statement. Everything needs to refer back to it. And it needs to control your essay. It's one central claim that does everything. It should also be one sentence. Don't try to make it 2 or 3 sentences. It's confusing. You should be able to sum it up in one standalone sentence, meaning if you removed it from the essay, the sentence would still make sense. Here are some things not to do though. Do not write "in this essay" or "I will discuss" or "I will talk." All right? First of all, "in this essay" is really lazy, sloppy writing. Do not do it at all costs. And by writing things like "I will discuss," "I will talk," well, it's kind of wrong. You're not talking. You've written something and the audience is reading it. So don't do that. Don't fail to take a stand or make a central claim or argument. Make sure you include the how or the why. Do not give evidence. This is for body paragraphs. Do not be specific, okay? Just make a claim, that's it. And do not use personal pronouns in your thesis statement or anywhere in your essay for that matter. Now, when you're looking to answer how or why, there are a couple of phrases you can use. By using these, you will know for a fact that you've done this. So if you're looking to answer why, you could use due to, because of, as a result, a reason for, or in order to. If you want to explain how, you can use through, by, the use of X causes Y, to. Make sure you have the how or the why. These should be highlighted in purple writing. Now, as always, we need to look at the context. The example I'm going to use in this video is a book called Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. We need to understand the story before we begin. So the character, the protagonist, is Victor Frankenstein, but it is narrated by several characters, the novel. It's set in the 18th century in Europe, mostly Switzerland, but also Germany, France, England, Russia, and even the Arctic. The plot of Frankenstein is about a scientist called Victor Frankenstein. He's able to create new life from, dead body parts. However, it's not the perfect specimen or the perfect creature he imagines. It's this grotesque, ugly thing. Victor Frankenstein rejects it, as do mankind in general. The creature runs away. He actually finds a house where he does, odd chores to help out in secret and begins to learn to read and write. But when he's discovered there, the family freak out as well, like everyone else does, and it makes the creature quite sad. He's just looking to be loved. He goes back to Victor Frankenstein and he says, "Can you make me a girlfriend, basically? If you make me a girlfriend, we'll stay away from society forever." And Victor agrees. But eventually Victor breaks his promise and decides not to do it, so the monster kills Victor's true love, the woman he's loved for his whole life, a woman called Elizabeth. After that, Victor looks to get revenge and tries to find the monster to kill him. Now, the book was written by Mary Shelley in a time, and it's important to say this, that she's a woman. At this time, authors like Shelley or Jane Austen or the Bronte sisters, they kind of broke tradition. They weren't educated as well as men at the time. They didn't go to the same sort of schools. They weren't taught the same things. So for a woman to write, it was a bit of a big deal. Interestingly as well, Mary Shelley's husband, Percy Shelley, is a famous poet. But I actually feel that, Frankenstein has really stood the test of time. And it's a testament to how well her writing was and how good of a book it is. So let's look at some good and bad examples for a thesis statement about the novel Frankenstein. In her novel Frankenstein, Shelley depicts the effects of social injustice through the insensitive actions of Victor Frankenstein and the revenge his monster seeks. In this sentence, it's a standalone sentence, so I can remove it from the essay, it still makes perfect sense. Talks about Frankenstein, Shelley, and he explains the what, the effects of social injustice. That's what Shelley does. How does she do that? Well, I've used the word through, and I've written how she does that, showing the insensitive actions of Frankenstein and the revenge his monster seeks. Let's look at another example. Mary Shelley, in her novel Frankenstein, explores the themes of alienation, creation and revenge through the monster. I've explained the what she does, explores themes of alienation, creation and revenge. Then I've used the word through to introduce my how clause, through the monster. The third example. Mary Shelley's novel Frankenstein is a perfect example of Gothic literature. That's what it is. Why? Well, that's because it features the elements of fear, the supernatural and the gloomy settings. It has the what, it's Gothic literature, and the why, elements of fear, supernatural and dark gloomy settings. Readers should empathise with the monster in Shelley's Frankenstein because he was created for selfish reasons, only sought love, and is rejected. Again, I've explained why. I have the word because, so readers know that, and it's a standalone sentence. And finally, in Mary Shelley's novel Frankenstein, Victor Frankenstein can be interpreted as the real monster due to his unhealthy obsession to play God. The what in black and the how or the why in purple. Let's look at some bad ones. In this essay, I will discuss the most significant themes in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. No, we don't have this in this essay. We do not have personal pronouns. We don't say things like we'll discuss, and there's no how or the why. It just explains the what. And even then, not in very specific details, what themes. In Mary Shelley's novel Frankenstein, there are many possible themes which include alienation, creation and revenge. Okay. What's the claim? Yes, there are these themes, but can you explain the how or the why? How are they presented? How are they developed? Readers should empathise with a monster in Frankenstein. That's too basic. Okay, there's no how or the why, and there's not even a lot of information there. Victor Frankenstein can be interpreted as the real monster because of his unnatural obsession with being like God. For Victor believes that a new species would bless me as its creator and source. Shelley 52. Well, that explains the how and the why. It's got the what, it's got the how and the why, but it's got evidence. We do not use evidence in a thesis statement or in an introduction at all. Some of you may have heard or have used the three-prong thesis statement. So let's look at the question, how is Mary Shelley's Frankenstein an example of Gothic literature? Well, a three-prong thesis statement is like this. 3 prongs of a fork just means the 3 pointy parts of a fork. Body paragraph 1 can explain the elements of fear. That's an element of Gothic literature required, elements of fear. Gothic literature also needs to include the supernatural, so my second body could be about that. And it should also take place in gloomy settings, so my third body could be about this. Now, a three-pronged thesis statement basically lays out my essay. Mary Shelley's novel Frankenstein is a perfect example of Gothic literature. That is the what. The how? As it features the elements of fear, the supernatural and the dark gloomy settings. Well, I've laid out what body 1 is going to be about, what body 2 will be about, and what body 3 will be about. This is a three-pronged thesis statement. Some teachers request that you use this, and even some exam practitioners prefer this. It's not my personal preference to use, but if you're interested in using this, this is how it's done. Finally, I'd just like a quick analogy. A thesis statement is the sign above a tunnel telling you that you're going to be in a tunnel. The sign is very clear. This is a tunnel. Once you're in the tunnel, you shouldn't be able to see anything else except tunnel. That's an essay. Everything should just be about the thesis statement or the sign. The tunnel should be about the sign which says tunnel. I shouldn't be able to see the sea or green trees or anything like that. I should just be able to see tunnel and have tunnel vision, which the sign or thesis statement has said will be the case. Quick checklist. Does your thesis statement answer not only what, but also why or how? Remember to look at the words that ensure this. Have you avoided specific evidence or information and just presented one clear claim which you seek to answer? Is your thesis statement one sentence long and at the end of your introduction? And is your thesis statement a standalone sentence, meaning it has all of the information to be taken out of the essay and still be understood? Thanks for watching.